our next teenpreneur. She's 17, passionate about photography, enjoys playing TT, and has special interest in arts. She is student of 12th grade and comes from the city of Thane. Please join me to welcome Manasi.
Thanks a lot, Coach Deepak, for that amazing introduction. Hi, guys. I hope you all are enjoying this session. I would like to start by thanking you all for being here today. So let's begin with my dream project. Let me start by asking you a simple question. What do you visualize when I say a teenage girl? A sweet girl who's sitting in a group, talking, dancing, laughing, shopping, and clicking selfies, right? But what if I tell you a shocking fact? Researchers claim that the average onset of depression in teenage girls is 14 years. And by the end of the teen years, almost 20% of them might be suffering from what we know as clinical depression. Now, what is depression? Depression is an internalizing disorder which basically affects a person's emotional health. But the problem here is not being depressed. The problem here is recognizing and trying to solve it with some kind of an external help, which is looked down upon by most of us here. But how far do we go to help a mentally upset person, or most of the time end up teasing or hurting the person even more? But it's high time for all of us to stand up for ourselves. No one else is going to do it for us. It's extremely important to think, how can we come out of this? The only way to do this is either by sharing your feelings with somebody really close to you or to keeping it to yourself. Let me tell you that early involvement in one's emotional life definitely reduces the chances of the person slipping into depression and also reduces the likelihood of missing out on important life lessons. I do not say depression is a bias, but why experience depression when something much happier and simpler exists? Okay, so let me ask you a question. How many of us here know about Oprah Winfrey? Please raise your hands. Many of us. Now, how many of us know about what kind of a life she has gone through since childhood? Okay, but not many of us. Let me tell you that she has had a very tough life. Born to a teenage mother, undergone molestation as a teen, became pregnant at the age of 14 and lost her son in infancy, all in her teen years. Can we even think what she must have gone through at that point of time? But here, we see a strong and independent woman as a TV host and an entrepreneur. She was the most powerful woman on earth at the point in time. I have a reference for all the parents here. I would encourage them to watch a Netflix series called 13 Reasons Why. I must also say that the teenagers must refrain from watching this, as this is extremely emotionally draining. Okay, so let's move on to my introduction. Hey guys, I'm Manasi Vishwakarma. Studying in the 12th grade, I reside in Thane with my parents. My interests are playing table tennis, photography, and music. My inert values being independence and creativity, I wish other girls to also be emotionally independent. I want to address such problems in a much logical and creative way so as to see forth a more agile female teenage population. Life is full of complications. It's not a cakewalk. But the fun part of it for me is to decode the smallest of problems and experience the happiest of moments it gives me. This topic is kind of a little depressing, right? But you must be thinking, why did I choose this? So my reason for choosing this is something which is really close to my heart as well. I have another question. How many of you have felt some feelings which you can't share with your parents? Please raise your hands. Me as well. So these vulnerable emotions build up so bad inside us, but alas, we don't really have a place to vent it out, right? So lately, a conversation with a really close friend made me realize that this is not just my story. It's everybody's story, just that a few have a milder version while a few have devastating experiences. But the one thing I knew for sure is that sharing or opening up your true feelings might feel low on self-esteem and project a really weak you to the society. This is when I decided to share a real life story woven in a fictional storyline for all teenage girls. I wanted to create a go-to place for all teenage girls where they feel connected. Just a place to vent out all the frustration, all the anger, all the inhibitions, all the emotions without thinking about who's watching or who's not. Today, we live in a world where we pretend to know everything. The constant need to be socially accepted led us to behave in a certain way. But where is this leading us? Nowhere, right? The need to care about menial things, to act cool about certain stuff is something really absurd for all of us. The thing which we all lack here is self-love. Loving yourself however you are. Of course, striving to be a little better than what you were is what we all lack. Always caring about outward appearances and not giving what all is happening inside us is something which we all lack. Okay, now I have a really funny story to share. How many of us here have heard this? 10th पढ़ लो फिर life set है, 12th पढ़ लो life set है, graduation कर लो, job ले लो life set है, शादी कर लो. Okay, now it's time to have kids. Why are we supposed to listen to these people? Why? I mean, it's really important to know what your mind and what your body requires rather than thinking what the society will think about you. I mean, first think about yourself, then only then you can think of what others are thinking about you. You must all reflect on our emotions and feelings, however silly they are, and get to a conclusion over a period of time, as these emotions may end up getting suppressed, leading to various mental disturbances. So my project is a book titled Storms to Come Before It's Dawn. This is a book for teenage girls whom I want to feel comfortable with such emotions. I want them to feel that it's all right to be like this. That it's not something abnormal to be like this, to feel this way. I also want them to not get suppressed with such emotions. This is a topic which needs to be spoken about, but I feel big forums somewhere or the other bring in a kind of awkwardness, and people do not readily put forth their feelings. But this book will work at a personal level, which would help in personal growth of the person. So these are a few things which I want to convey from this book. This book will act as a guide, but I also want the girls to figure their lives, their journeys out. It's going to be a roller coaster of emotions. Trust me on that. Now, this book can be read by girls, definitely. Boys may read it to understand a girl's psyche and act accordingly. Elder women may read it to go over this journey all over again. I have one motto for this book. Read, reflect, compare it to yourself, but do not be like you're finding differences, but just take it as a guide. Know that you're all right. Hold on to your breaths. This is the cover page of my book. I would like to read the synopsis for all of you. Thoughts run deep. The emotions are heart-wrenching. The experiences are real. The story of a young chirpy girl who went through various ups and downs in her life. Those simple problems which we feel embarrassed talking about are the actual genuine struggles every adolescent girl goes through. Why do we not talk about such crucial things that actually affect a teenager's mental health? Why is it that we keep addressing the superficial things which are of no actual use? To answer all these questions with some real life circumstances, I introduce you to Kyra and her life journey so far. Let's begin this journey called pre-teenage with her. On the way, let us also explore some very relevant life lessons along with all her stories and childhood fantasies. This book is going to be in the series of 3. The first one being pre-teenage, the second one for the age of 13 to 16, and the third one from the age 17 to 19. As I'm in the 12th grade, I expect to be done with the writing of this book by June next year, and I aspire to sell 1,000 copies in 6 months after having written it. This book would also prepare a girl who's approaching the age with what all might happen, giving some relief to the growing anxiousness. You may find this book on Google Books and Amazon. Now, the stories which I have might not really be enough to provide a comprehensive network of emotions for everybody. This is why I invite you all to write back to me with stories, messages, advices, feedbacks which you want to include in the book. You may choose to remain anonymous. This is the help which I require from all of you. Please write back to me with all kinds of stories, full of fantasies, full of problems, full of emotions, and I would definitely look forward to including it in my book. You can write back to me on this mail ID. Please visit the teenpreneurship.in website for more details of my project and also follow me on LinkedIn. Thank you. Lastly, I would like to thank Coach Nitesh, all the other coaches, and above all, my parents for helping me out with this. Thank you.
Superb, Mansi, superb. That's an amazing project in a form of fictional book. The topic that you touched is so real and so evident, but very few people discuss about it. Amazing, Mansi. To give you an input, I invite the Dean of Regional College of Management, Bhubaneswar, Sanghamitra Pal. Hi, Sanghamitra.
Hi, Nitesh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. How well have you polished these little diamonds that they are scintillating so well? Really. Okay. Mansi, I couldn't move my eyelid anywhere when your presentation was on. You were so good today. Really. You have a very powerful voice to start with. You have a very powerful voice. The moment you started, you didn't look like a little teen girl, but you looked like a powerful presenter and a speaker. And that's a very big positive point that you have. You were very confident. You executed the entire flow of your presentation was very well curated, very well done. And you know what? The book that you have and the age that you're in, and you have written this book, and this coming from you makes more sense to the teenage girls and boys and to the parents also than it would have if a 40-year-old like me wrote this. So very well done, very well put up. One suggestion, as you asked for suggestion, one suggestion I can give is Teal Swan is a great writer and understand.
Sanghamitra, we lost you. Sanghamitra, we lost you in the last line.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
So Teal Swan is a writer. You can go through her books and understand. Shadows Before Dawn is her book, and you can go through Teal Swan's video to understand this issue of depression. Thank you so much, Mansi. Keep going. Keep going. You've really inspired all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all the suggestions. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sanghamitra. Thank you, Mansi. So guys, it's time to vote